Alright everybody, welcome to another Freestyle Game Dev live stream. My name is Kevin. We do these twice a week, Sunday nights and Wednesday mornings. Sunday nights at 10:15 Pacific Standard Time, Wednesday mornings usually at 8 a.m. The way this works is we're talking about Unreal Engine, blueprints, visual scripting, virtual production, basically anything Unreal related. As I mentioned, my name is Kevin. I currently work as a tech artist at Riot Games in R&D, which means I work a lot with the art and the tech side of it. Hopefully I can help bridge the gap. And in general, Unreal Engine is crazy deep. No one person knows all this stuff. So generally speaking, the reason this is set up as an AMA Q&A is basically I'm happy to stumble through the problems with you. So come in, ask questions, etc. If there are no questions, it's not a stress point. I am also just basically live streaming me working towards a working prototype for my own game. And so a lot of times we spend a bunch of time just kind of stumbling through that because there's a lot of aspects of Unreal that I'm not super familiar with, and it's a great opportunity for me to learn about some of those things as well. So we went through. It looks like I didn't see any questions in any of the previous streams. Running a little bit behind this morning, so I didn't get our Discord server and everything like that pasted in the chat. So let me get that in there. So we did set that up for people to check out. So there's our Discord server, and we can pin that. And then also keep an eye on Twitter. We're almost done breaking the channel up, so this will be just only Unreal Engine and game dev, and all the life stuff and everything like that will be in a completely separate channel. And then for those of you that are on Twitch, if you ever want to see the video logs and the history, you can go back to the YouTube channel where all that stuff is taken care of. So with that, since we don't have any questions, I think we're just going to hop straight back into what we were working on, and I can show you all a bunch of the cool updates we've been working towards. So let's see here. Here we are, Unreal Engine. Everything seems to be going. We are live. Great. Okay, so to start with, let's take a look at getting our enemies back online, and I can show you some of the problems or things that we need to debug, as well as some of the wins and successes. So let's take our enemies and respawn our enemies, and let's change these to search and destroy. So we've been busy building out all the different options for the kit, the base kit. So and also built another sword. So we now have two swords. We have a katana sword and a great sword. I've updated all of our movement stuff so that we can evade hopefully much easier now. I think we need to update the sword hit so that if we're not actually getting damaged, it's a different color. But basically, as long as I'm evading, there is a momentary window of immunity. So that's particularly powerful for being able to move around. That's one thing. Our sword, we now have a combo on the sword. Oops. I jumped ahead here. Actually, let's just make these guys dummy characters so I'm not spinning around. Alright, let's try this again. So our combo is, let's see here. What happened to our chat? There we go. So our combo is right now on this particular weapon, we've set it up as a three tap combo. So 1, 2, and then a slam at the end. And the slam also has, if we're close, oops, hold on. So 1, 2, and then the slam. 1, 2. Slam also has a little bit of slow on it. Probably should change that to a stun just to capitalize. I'm also working out some of the logic with the kit as well. So that's the left mouse button regular attack. The left mouse button secondary attack is spin to win. It does tons of damage and is completely spammable. And in my first official playtester ever, my daughter tried to play this afternoon, and she said I should never get rid of spin to win. But I think we're gonna probably have to gate it, because just being able to go around and seems a little bit unfair, but it's fun. Okay, so that's our left click. So we have basically two attacks on the left mouse. On the right mouse, those are kind of like our alternate attacks. So we have a gap closer. That's the quick speed in attack. And then we also have a new CC kind of attack right now. And if we right click, we can do kind of a CC on these enemies. Now, interestingly enough, I'm noticing a thing. I want to be able to move right after that. I want to be able to get out of it. And it doesn't look like I can do that. So I need to make sure that I can get my move in there. So we'll make that change here in a second. So basically, we now have 4 attacks. We have left mouse tap for combos, left mouse hold for whatever the secondary left mouse is. We have right mouse tap for combos and right mouse tap for the power attack. Antius, what is going on tonight? So basically, what I'm thinking is our kits are going to be basically you'll have 4 melee items, you'll have 4 possible attacks, then you'll have your weapons, and it's going to be all about juggling those, movement, etc., stunning, moving, all that kind of stuff. And then we have parry, and then we're going to have 2 spells, maybe 3. I'm still trying to figure that out. We may build a spell tonight, I'm trying to decide. But let's just, let me show you what combat looks like now if we turn these guys back to smart. Okay, and let's see how long I live. So like I said, I have my gap closer. And because I have a stun on it, it usually gives me time to kill him. And then I have my parry, which if they hit me when I'm parrying, you can see that they will also get stunned. Spin to win toast. Now, you cannot just spin to win all the time. It does a ton of damage. Oh no, Antius found a 2-week bug that cost me 2 weeks of time. Merging meshes that are set as nanite pre-merge will break geometry. Show sharp edge. You have to turn nanite off the individual meshes before merging for it to create a proper mesh. Oh my goodness. I noticed it after merging about 3,500 actors. Oh my goodness, holy cow. But it's very subtle but bad enough that it takes some work to revert all the world partition. Oh my god. 3,500 files. Okay, so let me show you can't just spin to win this. They will eventually hit me. See, he just hit, there, I got smoked. So even though you can spam spin to win, I'm gonna have to check it working at this to see if anybody at work has heard of that yet. That's cool. Alright, so let's just smoke this guy. So now we're back into seeing how long we survive. That guy's hurting, that's why he's hiding in the corner. Let's just smoke him. But this, you'll get a general feel for combat now. Basically, these guys are stunned. We got our gap closer, which is nice for getting in. Oh. So even with as powerful as I am, there's still some skill to it. That second hit is important. Also, the damage on the way out of a stun, or not a stun, a parry, is way stronger than regular damage. So I actually, whoa. So what's great is if I close the gap and then just parry just for good measure. Parry just for good measure, I get automatically sent to the second stack of my combo, which gives me extra damage. And I know what we can do for fun too. The only thing that it doesn't do is come on, buddy, let's go. Oh, you the only thing it doesn't do. I completely lost track of what I was saying. I'm trying to survive. Oh, you got me. Alright. So that should give you a kind of like an idea of how combat feels. Now, the regular sword is the exact same thing. 3 different abilities, or 4 different abilities. We've got our left tap, which is much quicker attacks. These are quicker, so the combos are a little bit faster. I don't feel like there's enough, and then for kicks, I just have spin and win on the left one. Right attacks are a little bit different. The right gap closer is just a gap closer swipe, and then the right power is also slam, but I did something with the timing of it. I'll have to figure it out. So overall, the distinction and delineation between the katana and the great sword is probably the easiest way to call them right now. They're not enough. It doesn't warrant two separate weapons. Right now, I feel like it's just have a sword. I'm going to have to see if I can come up with abilities for more like a rapier light sword that feels different enough from the great sword that warrants having a separate weapon, like a different type of sword. And the idea being, of course, it's going to be the balancing of interrupts, CC, and damage, mobility, all those kinds of things. So that's probably what we're going to be kind of taking a look at. Now, one of the things there's a couple things that we can work on tonight, depending on what everybody's up to. One, I can show you a problem, actually, that's sort of a bummer. My grenades, I've got grenades equipped right now, can't throw them. But if I drop them and pick them back up again, all of a sudden I can throw them. So I don't know what that is. That's a bug. I don't think that's going to be any fun to work on. So two things. We could probably start to build our QE spells. That could be fun. Or something that I was thinking about was, I had an idea for a way to potentially create a shield visual for our characters so that you can see, because specifically if we set these guys back to dummies, when we go in, you'll notice that on a first hit, it doesn't do any damage, but it is actually doing damage. The problem is this character has a shield that's not visualized and you don't see it. So we always do 50 damage and the shield is just where it is. So you just don't see it. It looks like the first hit doesn't do anything because the character has a shield. So what we could do is, I think it might be fun to try to create a shield visual for these characters. So that's one thing, or we could set up a spell. Antius, since you're the only one here right now, you get to decide. You want to build spells or you want to make a shield? Shield. All right. So here's my crazy idea for the shield, and I have no idea if it's going to work. Our fallback plan is a giant bubble, but a bubble's no fun. What I'm thinking we're going to try to do is I think we're going to try to use a normal space offset on the character mesh on a second mesh that is leader pose bound to the original mesh using a component, and then we're going to put a Fernal material on that. So if you didn't follow all that, don't worry, because I didn't either. Do a Stargate Asgard shield. Oh, you want a physical shield. Okay, that's a different thing. I was actually talking about, like, the character has a shield mechanic built in that blocks damage. But you're talking more of like a directional shield. Interesting. I haven't really even thought about a directional shield yet for an enemy. That would be like kind of a new enemy type. Let's see what Antius has got here. Yeah. So you're talking about kind of like a new shield item that we might be able to use. I gotta admit, I was not mentally ready for that. From the standpoint of not even sure where I would start. I wanna put a rain check in it, that fortunate misunderstanding, because I also think I would need a different movement set for it. And I don't know that I have. I don't know if I have the animations for that. But I think it's a cool idea, and I think it's something that we should do in one of our upcoming ones. But let's try this crazy idea for the visualization of the shield mechanic. So first, we kind of need to understand. Actually, no, I don't even think we need to understand anything. Let's do this. Let's build this as a component. Let's check the shooter man. Okay, and when we look at the shooter mannequin, we've got a bunch of components on here. The targeting component is one of them. And on our class defaults, I believe the shield is, wait, where's their base shield value? Not there. I think it's on the health component. Wait, what? Events. On health change and on shield change. Look at those. We got 2 shields. Okay. And then on death started, on component deactivated. Okay, let's see what this is all about. On shield change, we're not doing anything, interestingly enough. But we may use this. We might use this. Okay, so let's go back and take a look at our targeting component. And then let's browse to that. What folder is this in? This is all things, etc. So let's take a look at what is happening in this targeting component. This is doing some stuff. Oh, I know what this does. Okay, cool. That's fine. Let's make a new component. We want this to be a component. We'll call this an actor component, and what kind of component is this? Scene component. And this is going to be our component. For right now, we're going to go with shield, even though I don't know if that's what we're going to stay with. Also, why is this different? No, I don't want an actor component. Let's delete this. Force delete. Also, I don't believe our perf force is connected. So let's reconnect that. Source control is not connected, and we'll just duplicate this. It'll be faster. We'll call this component shield. I feel like there's going to be a more generic name for this, which is going to be like health visuals or something like that. And we can just delete a lot of this stuff. So we have initialize, begin play, doing all kinds of casting. And then there's something on the tick. Okay, so let's just delete all of this for now. Okay, and then this is going to destroy, that's the reticle, so we're not even using it in play. And then let's get rid of our initialize. And let's just go with begin play. And then we don't need, where is it in use? We don't need any of these functions. We don't need the macros. We don't need the reticles, the distance. We're just getting to a clean component here. Okay. We have the player controller just in case we need it. We do need a skeletal mesh. So let's do this. This is going to be 2 hours of sleep. Yeah, I mean, after you're updating 3,500 actors, no wonder. Get some rest, dude. And also, thanks for sharing the tip. I'm definitely gonna see if that was a known thing or a secret thing. So I totally appreciate you hopping in and sharing that. One day, when I get to do environment stuff, I'm gonna have so many questions for you. But I have a whole bunch of gameplay for stuff I gotta get through first. But have a great night. All right, so this new variable, this is gonna be a skeletal mesh. This is gonna be a skeletal skeletal mesh object reference. Okay. And we are going to not name this. This is going to be our, I mean, I guess we could just shield scale mesh. Okay. And then what we're going to do is on begin play, we're going to get the player controller, and then we're going to get the controlled pawn. And with that, we're going to get the mesh. Oh, interesting. Fine. It's interesting that it doesn't. It's interesting that I have to do that. It doesn't know who it's parented to. Did we do any? No, we didn't. Okay, we can just do this. We can just get the owner. That'll work. And then just in case we need it again, let's just bump this up to a variable. And this is we're going to rename this. This is going to be our controlled pawn for ease. And then from there, we should be able to get our mesh. Yep. Okay. So then what we want to do, we want to get this, and we want to do, I think it's attached. Nope. Attach. It's funny, I do this all the time at work. And I guess I haven't tried this in a while. So let's see here. This is going to be the input mesh, the target, and the new leader bone component. I think this is it. Wait, what? What is this expecting? A skin mesh component object reference. Get the skeleton. Oh, interesting. I'm also, now that I think about it, I'm used to doing these in the anim blueprints. Oh, maybe that's what we want to do. We don't even need to do that. Okay, hold on a second. Yes. Okay, let's do that. All right, so for our mannequin, I think it was M-Fem. All right, here's our heroes. Here's our M-Man. Here's our mesh. Okay, what we're going to do, I'm going to duplicate this. Wait, can I just use this twice? I may not even have to duplicate these things. All right, let's see if we can do this. What I do know is I need a an anim blueprint, and this is going to be, yeah, this should just be our M-Man anim blueprint. But I want to be clear on this because this is not a standard blueprint. This is going to be, I hate that word shield. Shield. It's more like a secondary visual blueprint, but that's such a long name for it. Cosmetics, that could be confusing. Gameplay, for now we'll just call it shield ABP. Okay, and then in here, what we're going to do is on begin play, we want to driver. Try get pawn owner. Here's our value. So this is our pawn owner. Okay, we're gonna cast this to a Lyra character. And I believe that that is going to get me the mesh. Is that gonna get me the mesh? That does get me the mesh. And in our anim graph, I'm gonna copy pose from mesh. What is our inputs? The source mesh is going to be, promote this to variable. This is going to be our driver mesh. Oh, I'm so used to having references for this because I built this so, excuse me, I built this so many times at work. And basically this is all we're going to do. That's it. Pretty sure. Compile. And over here, what we want to do is we want to set this to be here. Now, the driver mesh. Now, we want to do this whenever we update. Let's also do this on begin play. And I'm also going to do this on initialize animation. I like that one. Yeah, we'll do these three. And I think that should be enough. I feel like there's something I'm forgetting here. Okay, so basically when we start, we're going to set our driver mesh, and our driver mesh is going to be from the owner. And we may have to make one update to this. Okay, so and then that is going to be used to drive this. Now, here's the trick. How are we going to know this is working? So in our shield component, we're going to get our shield skeletal mesh. We compile this and save this. What I want to do is I want to set this to our mman, which is going to have no anim BP set by default, I'm pretty sure. And what we're going to do, we're going to take this and we're going to set the anim. Does this need to be a component instead? Skeletal mesh. Find the sockets, remove, resize, anim motion. Usually there's an anim instance on here. I've not seen it, so it's possible we have the wrong thing. So let's change this to a skeletal mesh component. See if that's where our miss was. Skeletal mesh component, object reference, change it. It's gonna do, it shouldn't be that much. Okay, good. Nothing found. And let's change this to a skeletal mesh component, just so it's clear. And that is not going to be anything. And then what we're going to do is we are going to actually, I don't even think we want that. I think what we wanted is a class reference, and then I think what we want to do is we want to set that at runtime from the class reference. So control pawn, add component. Add component by class. And the class that we're going to add is going to be skeletal mesh component. And then we're going to set the skeletal mesh as asset, and then I think actually what we can do, I don't even think we need this. I think I was wrong. All right, let's try this again. So let's promote this to a variable, and then let's set this to be, let's go inline. Okay. Now I want to do one other thing with this. So theoretically this should set the skeletal mesh component. I don't know where it's going to appear though. Let's just see what this looks like. Like, I don't even know what's going to happen with this right now. So let's add the heck was the name of that component? Oh, these are all called components. Component underbar. Shield. Compile. Save. Is everything else saved? Yes. Let's see what this looks like. Okay. I mean, it's there. We're off to a start. Okay, so a couple things we're not doing. Obviously, it's not animating yet, but at least it's there. The other thing that's happening is the color is being changed by the cosmetic system. I did not account for that. We are going to have to figure that out. What is going on with my voice? Okay, so from this, let's get all the materials. And then let's, for each of them, what we're going to do is we're going to set our materials. So we're going to take this and we're going to set we're going to take this, we're going to do this like this. Set material. Oh, interesting. That's not what I'm used to seeing. I'm used to looping through and getting each material at a time. So hold on a second. This is what I was looking for. Okay, we're gonna do this differently. I was like, wait a minute. So now for each of these, we're gonna go through each material. And then we're going to set it by index, set the material. And we're just going to use this to force the material that we're setting to be something different for right now. We'll make a new material here in a second. But let's just make sure that, let's just go hot pink and see if I have a sneaky feeling that the system is going to override it. No, it didn't. Okay, so we have our hot pink material. They also have hot pink materials. Probably not what we want, but actually we do, because they have shields as well. Okay, so I think what we want to do is we want to make a new material. And where in the world are we going to keep that? Heroes, enemies, characters, cosmetics. Let's create a materials folder. Materials. And then in here, let's create a new material. And this is going to be material design state. or that's not really a state. Design status, design. These are all design things, like the amount of shield you have, what else might we convey with this? Let's just for now, until I figure out what these are going to be called, let's just go shield. My brain is not working right now. Okay, and then all we're going to do inside this shield is let's get, let's take a color, vector 3, constant vector 3. This is going to be our color. I'm going to plug this into a base color just to test it. And we'll change this to a nice bright blue. And then what we want to do is we want to do a normal. World position offset. I think that's what we want to do. Normal. World position. Let's see here. Also have not looked at materials in quite some time. World align. World. World aligned normal. That's interesting. World aligned normal. All I want to do is offset the material by the normal, along the normal. And I feel like I've done this before, but I don't remember how to do it. So let's take, all right, so we need the absolute world position. Absolute world position. Take that. That's the absolute world position. And then we're going to add well, let's just see what happens. Let's add 5. Let's do 10. I'm going to put this into the world offset. Okay, that definitely got bigger. Why is it semi-transparent? It's kind of weird. Oh, interesting. Yeah, so that's not what we want. I mean, in the sense that that is definitely not. Allows for the vertice of a mesh to be emulated in world space by the material. That's exactly what we want. But I think what we want is we want the normal. Interesting. What is our other options? Is this where's our teapot? Nope. So if I do this one with a add 2 to the world position. Yeah, I mean that does exactly what we want. The only thing that's a little concerning is it makes it semi-transparent, which I'm not sure why it's doing that. But let's just see what happens if we then take this and we put in, let's get a Fresnel in here. Fresnel. Exponential in. And let's multiply this by, we're going to take this and we're going to do translucent. And then what we're going to do is, we're not going to worry about two-sided, but we're going to set our opacity to be based on this Fresnel. So you'll see that that gives us kind of like just an edging effect. Now what we can do, hold on, let me double check to make sure we don't have any late night owls with me for questions. Nope. Okay, cool. So we have this for null, which is cool. And depending on how you change this, the phenol will come in and be more dense. Right? So let's just say 1 for right there. Cool? That way hopefully we won't miss it. This is going to be our material that represents our shield. So back here in our component for the shield, the material that I want to put on here is our M underbar shield. Okay, compile that, save it, and run. Okay. Oh, look. Oh, look at that. Okay, their positions. So that's cool. Like it's, wait, what? Okay, look at this. So this dude is, yeah, so this is world space that we're adding to. We're in the wrong space, but you can see our phenol is working. If we can get this to work, this will be cool. So let's get our shield into, take a look at our material. Okay. Rather than world space, let's get local space. Local position. And we're going to take that. And let's compile that. Interesting. I'm not sure why it's so narrow from that view, from that side, but for the enemies, you can see it looks correct. So that's fine. All right, we're making progress. We're making progress. Okay, now we set our material. I thought we set our anim blueprint. Did we not? We added our skeletal mesh component. Let's see here. Set anim instance class, and this is going to be our shield. Man, shield APB. Okay. Is that all we need? Okay. So it's working from the standpoint of it's actually animating now, which is cool. But we've definitely got something wrong with our offsets in here. As well as how this is being attacked. Where is this? Driver mesh, copy pose from mesh. Use attached parent. Interesting. We're basically offset by the capsule. It looks like. Here, you know what? Let's go down to our materials just to make sure that we get this stuff lined up properly. So we're not going to add anything now. So apply and save. And then we'll just play this. So our characters. Why is that so big? Hold up a sec. Something doesn't add up here. Material. We're not adding anything. Okay, so let's do this. Let's try this. Let's see if we've got. Okay, we're closer. But we need to shift down and rotate by 90 degrees. Why is that? Is our shooter mannequin shifted down and rotated by 90 degrees? Our skeletal mesh is shifted down by 88 and rotated -90. So that's what we're missing. So in our attach, in our component for our shield, when we do this, let's make a relative transform. And no. What are my options here? Can I just make transform here? Okay. And I said it was 88 and 90. I believe it was. Compile and save. Here we go. There we go. Okay, so our meshes, you can see they're lined up now. And they're Z fighting, but they're lined up. That's the, okay, so now all we need to do is offset the normals, just the normal. So now we should hopefully be in the material world. So if we just offset these guys by I'm looking. I'm looking for some references here. Material stuff is always fun. Oh, interesting. They're taking into account the transform position there. Oh, we could take... Wait, can we do this? Can we do the world position, vertex normal, in world space, multiply this by 2. I wonder if we can just do this. Did that change sizes? Hold on a second. 1, that's 1. That's 10, it's not changing. So we want to take this and we want to add this, I think, to its current position. Let's do local position. Nah, local position is weird. I don't know if I trust this position. Object position, world space. Let's take this and let's add this to our, we'll do this to our normal offset. I was expecting that to grow. I don't see that growing. Okay, they're all over there. They're not on the characters, so we still don't have this right. The object position, and we're adding the vertex normal world space times 2, which should, I would think, cause it to stretch out. Try a texture chord. I don't see why this would be it, but let's just try. But rather than add, let's multiply. Error, doesn't like that. Float 2 and float 3. Which one's a float 3? Okay, let's mask this. Yeah, it can't be it can't be the texture coordinate, because if it was a texture coordinate, that's just a 2D space. What are my position options? This has got to be it. It's a world position, and this should be plus. I don't understand why this wouldn't be a plus. Because the world position of this mesh, but look at that, it's actually, it's out there over at the origin basically. So that's not the world position then. This is the absolute world position. I don't like you. I don't like you much at all. I don't know if I buy that. Let's apply. Maybe we didn't apply that. Yeah, that didn't actually work at all. So that's not it. Whoa. What in the world? That is funky. This doesn't make any sense because this is not actually changing size. This is when one of you is supposed to hop in and save me from myself. Because if we get the vertex normal, this is the vertex normal in world space. And if we just take that and multiply it by 2, that should offset. Let's just see if this is actually what I think it is. Oh, interesting. It's tall. Why would it be tall? There's no offsets. Local position excluding offsets. No way, dude. What is happening here? Local position, instance local position, instance local position. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. All of these are scaled too big, and I don't understand why they're scaled so big. All right. The camera offset. Let's try this. We'll do a quick search. Unreal Engine vertex offset skeleton material. Local space. Let's just see what comes up with that. I'm just looking at images here. So here, this one that's particles. Interesting. Offset pivot to bottom of object. Absolute world position in time. That's something in time. Time. What is this? Vertex normal world space multiplied by a height fed into. This is based on a texture coordinate. But basically, it's literally just a vertex normal world space, which is what we had. So vertex normal world space multiplied by 1 should just be what it is by default. So if we apply that, when we look at our characters, oh, okay. So y is 2. Oh wait, this is a, hold on. Hold on. Is it only multiplying one axis? Is that what's happening? That's weird if that's the case. Actually, that looks pretty good. Hold on. What? I swear we tried this. Hold on a second. Oh, okay, that's pretty important too, because our character changes meshes. Hold on, let's apply this though, and make sure it's actually taking effect. I mean, it kind of works if it wasn't for the fact that it's using the wrong skeletal mesh. But like, see that guy up there? That's actually the proper mesh. That does work. Okay, so why did I swore we tried that. All right, well, let's just take our exponent and pump it up a fair bit. Forgot to apply that. Okay. All right, so that mostly works, but you can see they're way too, but they're blue. Actually, that's pretty good. That looks pretty good. So the only problem is the type of mesh that we're putting on here. So let's go to our shoe component. And right now we're using, we're adding a skeletal mesh, and this is the skeletal mesh asset that we're adding. What we want to do is we want to get the shooter mannequins controlled pawn, and let's get the skeletal mesh asset, and let's see if we can plug this straight in. Hold on, I don't know if that's gonna work, because I don't know if that's gonna hijack the other one. Yeah, that didn't work. So let's do this. Let's get, rather than getting the skeletal mesh axis, let's get the class. That's the mesh. I think we need to create a skeletal mesh object. No. Skeletal mesh asset. Add component by class. Let's try this. What is our skeletal mesh component? We already have a skeletal mesh component. This is a skeletal mesh asset. So here's our skeletal mesh asset. Can we get the class from this? Okay, and then can we feed this in here? Spawn. spawn from. I don't know if this is what we want. Nope, that's not what we want. I know how we can just cheat this right now. There's a better way to do this. But for now, what we can do is we can take let's see here. This is a skeletal mesh asset. Spawn skeletal, not spawn asset. It's not gonna be spawn asset. It's not gonna be an actor. Let's add from class. Nope, I am stuck. I know what I want this to be. Because what I don't want to do is, the problem is, what I'm concerned about is if this is an actual, if I were to create 3 of these, I would actually have 3 of these in the component, and it would actually be spawning 3 of these, 1 for each of the characters. Whereas what I really want to do is, when we begin play, I want to spawn a skeletal mesh asset that is of the type of the actual current cosmetic asset. That's what I want to do. And I have the class of it. I know how to set this skeletal mesh asset. So how do we spawn a skeletal mesh asset? Create. Duplicate, bind, import, rename. All right, interwebs, help me out. Unreal, spawn, skeletal, mesh, asset from class. Yeah, that does. All right, so this should be able to be. Let's try this. Wait, I thought we tried this. We did try that. That did not work. If we make this an array, and we compile this, and we add 3 items to it, and we do mman and mfem. We don't need 3, we can just delete this last one. We have 2. Get find item, select the asset. Okay, and then get. I don't need a copy. I can. Oh no, don't crash. Thank you. Let's get Thought I could get a reference. Okay, fine, we'll get a copy. That's gonna be our item, and we're gonna fill this in. Wait a minute. That clearly did not work either. I don't believe you. Oh, interesting. MFem does not have the... Okay. Are you reading this? It says skeletal mesh object component object reference is not compatible with skeletal mesh. Oh yeah, they're two different things. I don't want it, man. I'm gonna have to do this hacky way to finish this off in a reasonable amount of time. So let's get this get to class. Not the end class. Let's get the scale mesh asset. And then, why does this have a thing? What's this exclamation point mean? Let's do this. Print string. If we print this, what does this print? SKM Manny invis. Oh. Oh no. Okay, this is more complicated than that. Okay, because of the... Alright, we're just gonna set it. We're not gonna worry about it for right now. Let's just set this as a single. And let's get rid of the and then we'll get rid of this, and we don't really even need this, but here we can plug this in, and we'll update this later. And let's just get back to what we were doing. So what's happening is the way this works, or doesn't work. Oh, this isn't set. The way this works is our character is actually being driven by a cosmetics piece, and the cosmetics piece runs on top of an invisible skeleton, and it doesn't get set until the cosmetics time. So what we need to do is, let's see if we can do this way. Let's see if we can just always set everyone to be reference viewer. This is used by BFem, and this is used by the load character cosmetics. If we edit that, basically we can force this to always be masculine. So that would cover that. Check this out. And then what we're going to do is we're going to hit play. And then so we're masculine all the time. Everybody's masculine all the time. And now they have the shields around them, which is cool. Okay, now the thing is, our Frenal, I mean, it could be a little bit. Go 10. And yeah, let's just see what that looks like. Let's go 20. See what happens with 20. It's interesting because even at 20, it seems very, very visible. I was expecting this to be a very thin line, so I think we may need to take this and do a power on it. Power of 2, connect this in. And let's go exponent of, let's go back to 1. Okay, and then let's see if changing this has an effect. There we go. So what this is doing is this is eroding. This is eroding that shield. So what we could do is we go power 10. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, that's a little bit too much. It's there, but you can't really see it. So let's try half that. That's pretty good. And then let's see if we can bump up. Then we're going to take this and we're going to feed that into our emissive. But let's multiply it by like, oh, look at that. Let's take this and feed this. So here's what we're going to do. If we take this and then we saturate it, that's going to be basically a free clamp for us. And what this is going to do is this is going to limit the glow to be just the border, just the edges. And then if we put a molten here, if we put another molten here, what we can do is we can have control over how glowy the borders are. So now they're like super glowy. Okay. And if we go back, we can cut that down. We just say 1. Not nearly as glowy. So let's try something. Let's just go extreme. Let's look at 0. So that's no glow. So let's go 100. That's gonna be cool. I mean, not really, but more glow. Okay, that's still not much with these lighting conditions. Let's try 1,000. Boom. Because I'm not applying it. I'm expecting these people to light up like Christmas trees. There we go. Now you can tell that dude's glowing. That's a bit much. So let's drop that back to like 100. And apply it. I think we weren't applying it was the problem. That's still a bit much. But you can definitely tell the dude is shielded, which is cool. I think we can probably drop that back even further. We can probably go 50. So we just basically put a shield on these characters without kind of without having to do anything else, just by using we're basically using the idea of the leader pose, which is supposed to be really, really fast, to create a kind of just a quick dummy visual for us to use as a shield. Now, the only thing I don't know is I feel like, yes. Stat.fps. Wait, I don't see it. Where is it? Oh, it's stat. space FPS. Okay, so our frame rate is 60 and 17. Okay, so let's disable this component. And we can disable this component simply by deleting it. So let's just delete the shield off our characters and take a look at our stats. It looks about the same, 60 and 15. So our shield's not causing anything too crazy as far as performance goes. So let's add our shield back in. So we now have a component that allows us to visualize shields on our characters. Now the trick is, probably what we want to do is we want to basically, when the shield goes to 0, we would like this to turn on. So what we need to do is we need to be able to communicate with our shield component. And all we're going to do that is a couple things. First, we are going to create a dynamic material instance when we create these characters, or when we create these shields, so that we don't have to redo them. So let's create. I think so. That's going to be a comment. Dynamic. Create dynamic instant material. And what we want to do is, this is going to be for the shield. This is M shield. And then when we create that, we are going to use that to set this material to be this. So we're just adding one thing. And what this is going to do is this is going to give us the ability to change values on that material. And the reason that's important is because then we'll be able to control the visibility of that material. Now, there's another way we could do it, simply like, actually this is actually, okay, hold on, this is cool. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to add a custom event. Add let's just do this. Let's add event, set shield visibility. We could do update shield visibility. Okay, and then what we're going to do with this is we're going to pass in, actually we don't even need to pass it in. What we can do is from our parent component, because we have our controlled pawn, which is a B hero computer mannequin, we can get our controlled pawn, and then we can get our shield value. And then what we're going to do with that is there's a couple different ways we can do this, but for now let's just make it work. And what we can do is, if this is greater than 0, we are going to cast, add a skeletal mesh component. We want to create a variable for this thing, so that we can store it, because we're going to want to make changes to it. Well, in this particular case, we would want to make changes to the component itself. So let's promote this to a variable, and this is going to be the spawned skeletal mesh component. Oh, we are losing some steam. Okay. So that's all we're going to do there. And then what we're going to do in here is if this is valid, then we're going to set. Okay. And what we are going to do is, if that's true, we're going to set the visibility. Set the visibility to be, actually we could probably just set it to this. We don't even need the branch, we can skip the branch. If it's valid, we're going to set the visibility. If this is greater than 0, the visibility is true, otherwise it's false. That will work for that. And then what we want to do is in our shooter map, okay? Back here in our event graph, on our shield, on shield changed, what we can do is we can get this and we can change this to validated get. And if it is valid, then we can just update our shield visibility. And that should actually finish it. And we can test it here because this sword does 50 damage. And if I hit him, see how the shield went away? They have no more shield. So what's cool about that is if they hit me, same thing happens. If we make them back to search and destroy. So my shield's gone. You can see. So it's pretty quick to identify which dudes have shields now. And there's no longer this, like, I'm no longer wondering on that first attack where 50 went, because I can see clearly that his shield disappeared. And this also gives me the ability to regenerate shields visually, everything like that. Now, there's a lot more we can do with this. For example, this shield, what we could do is here, let me give you an example. Let's see here, do we have, let's do a texture. Sampler, parameter 2D, sure. And in here, for this texture, do we have anything like cracks of any kind? Tip cracks. I don't know if that's gonna work. Let's do this. Let's make a noise. And let's feed the noise into here. And let's just disconnect these two for right now. Okay, and what we're going to do with this is we're going to take our scale and go to 10. Nope, 0.1. There we go. 0.05. Okay, and then let's change our I'm going to try to use this to make cracks. So let's take our power. And I'm just doing this in the channel to start with because I want to see. Okay, so that's power exponential 5. So really what we want to do is let's invert this on minus and do this. Okay, so it's starting to get a little bit cracky. 10, 20, 100. It's kind of cracks. I mean, it sort of gives you the idea. If we do 1.8. Okay. So let me see what this looks like. 1.8 versus 2, 1.9 versus 2, simplex, gradient. Ooh, okay. Voronoi. Yeah, I don't like the Voronoi. Let's just do simplex. Okay. And then level scaling, we don't even really need to do that. So here, and then we do still need to do the 1 minus. Reason being because we want this to be cracked, and yep, we'll go ahead and feed this through our deal. So let's just say these are our cracks. All right, what I want to do with this is going to be our emissive color. Wait a second. I disconnected something I shouldn't have. This is going to be our base color. And that's going to feed into our emissive. And I think this was the opacity. Okay, yes. Okay. So our base color, if we take this and we multiply, is this what I want to do? This way. We take this and we multiply our base color by the crack into our base color. Okay, you can see the cracks at the edges, but it's not quite what we want because cracks are messing with our overall color. So what we want to do is, let's do this. Let's take these cracks, and rather than multiplying by the base color, let's also multiply those by this and feed this into mist. And let's change this back to 50. There we go. So here's what I'm talking about here. All right, what I'm talking about here is we can increase our cracks using a material parameter. So right now our exponent is 100. If I set it to 1, you'll notice it's not very cracky. If I go to 0, see here, that's not quite about 10, 100, 500. Nope, this isn't doing the erode quite what I wanted it to. 10. Oh, this is the, okay, so this is the, okay, so this is the crack. This is multiplying the crack by, so here's our color. And then we're taking this, hold on, let's take this and go, let's saturate this. And then feed this into this multiply. Okay, so that should get us our visibility, that's cool. And then the value that we would want to feed in here is hold on, I need to think for a second. What does this look like? This looks like that. And if I increase the exponent, it gets more cracky. Okay, this isn't quite what we need. We have cracks. They are black and white. We are going to set our we're going to multiply them by our color. We're going to feed that into our base color. The problem is 0 times blue should be 0, but that's not feeding into our opacity. So I think we also want to feed these into our opacity. I think we want to multiply everything by this. What I want to do is I want to make the cracks disappear. I know my voice is very lethargic tonight and you all are probably falling asleep even if you're watching this after the fact, but it's late, so. Okay, so hold on a second. So we're basically, that's covering our opacity. That's just an offset for the normal. I don't know that we need it on the base color. We don't. Okay. And that's because we're connected into our opacity and our emissive color. I don't even actually think we need that. So I'm curious what that looks like on the characters. Oh, I forgot to apply it. I was like, man, no crack. Yeah, so it just cracks there now. Okay, now here's the thing. All we need to do is I don't want to add, I could subtract, I could blend. There's a bunch of different things I can do to do this. I'm just trying to figure out the best one. This is our mask, basically. This is basically a mask. And if you look at it on our base color, and we take care of our emissive. So this is our mask. Saturated. We go 5,000. 0. Yeah, negative 100. But we will never get this. That's because we're going to take that. Let's just take this. Let's take white. I want to see something. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that. If I multiply this by this, feed that into our base color. That's not what I want though. Blend. Blend. So it's been so long since I messed with materials. On color. I feel like it's it. Oh, linear interp. Linear interpolate between these two with a value of 1 feeding into the base color. Okay, 0. Hold on a second. Okay, that's not what we want here. I've done examples of this before where I was able to get this to look the way I want it to, but actually that's an inverse interp. How is that? Oh, because our opacity is still connected. Wow, what a bummer. I've been looking at this the wrong way the whole time. So if we look at the base color here, and then we change this to 0, what do we get? Okay, negative 100, 100, 10. Okay, fine. So if we lerp these two, we go to 1.5. Interesting. Okay, so that kind of works. So here's what's going to happen. This is going to be our base color. This linear terp is going to get multiplied by let's do this, multiply our emissive color. It's also going to get multiplied into our opacity. And then if we go 0 on this, wait a second. It's our emissive. Hold on a second. This should be currently what color? Let's preview this node. White. Black. So if we're at 1, if we're at 0, this should be white. So it's going to be that color multiplied by, this is a Vernal, multiplied by the color, multiplied by, basically this is a mask, effectively. We don't need this. Here we go. Got it. I had one thing misconnected. Okay, so now if we go 1 on our blend, it gets cracky. Right? 0.5. It's starting to crack. And 0. Solid. So if we look at what it looks like with no crack, oh, I forgot to apply. So if we look at it like no cracks, shield is strong. And then if we look at it with crack, by setting our crack display, oh, I forgot to apply again. I need to make this an instance. Okay, and then we're gonna go like that. So you can see our shield is kind of cracking, which is kind of cool. Let's see what 0.5 on the crack looks like. You know what we could do? I have another idea. The cracks are kind of tough to read. Here's the thing. We're doing what we shouldn't be doing in the sense that we're getting lost in the art. But what we could do is the emissive color is going to get... Here, let's do this. Let's take this and create another one of these. Okay, and let's make this a little bit dark. Let's try dark. Okay, this is actually going to be the crack color. So let's see how we do this. We're going to take our emissive multiplied by basically our Vernal. So this is going to be the base color. This is going to be the crack color. Okay. These are our crack. So let's take 1 minus and multiply it by this. let's just add these. This isn't what we want. To be clear, this is definitely not what we want. So let's just add these. And let's change these. Let's just change this to red so we can see better what's happening. Okay, so right now we do not have happening what we think we have happening. So our cracks are, these are our cracks. And if we take this and we look at this value, the full crack so we can see it. Okay, and the inverse of this. Cool. If we stop previewing that, if we take this and we multiply it by the blue, our cracks are blue. So if we take this and multiply it by our blue, our Fresnel is blue, okay? So that's that. And then if we stop previewing this, and we have another multiply, which comes off of our red and connects into here. And then we add these two together. This is going to give us, this should give us blue with red cracks. It does. Okay, cool. The interesting thing is that really that color? Yeah, that is that color. It looks funky in this lighting. All right, so we start previewing this. Those are our cracks. Okay. So if that's our crack, we feed these into our emissive. Stop previewing. Basically, okay, so here's what's happening. The problem is our cracks are red, but our opacity is dialed in exactly to our crack. So we're not seeing any of the blue. Because our opacity is set to that, which, what if we just skip? There we go. So now we have blue with red cracks. Okay. There we go. So we have blue for now with red crack. I keep forgetting to apply. Cool. So it's a little bit kind of a distracting message, but I think if we change the color of this to be maybe a different blue, I think that will help convey it. And the idea will be that what's going to happen is, I don't know why we have two multiplies in here, we don't need two. Basically what's going to happen is as our character cracks, let's see here, if we go 0 on this, okay, this is flipped. This is the exact opposite of what we want. We need this to feed into here, and this to feed into here. So blue is our base at 0. We go 1 with the crack. No, wait, what? We have this flipped around again? Our cracks are purple. And that feeds into our emissive color. Okay. So if we're at 0, what does this look like at 0? We're taking... That's black. Black is getting multiplied by blue. Black is getting multiplied by blue, that's why. So at 0, what we want is we want no crack. We basically want blue. So we're flipped. So we're at blue. Hold on, if we take this. Oh wait, why are we multiplying this? We shouldn't be multiplying this. We should be adding this. Ooh, that is nuts. Hold on a second. This is our crack value. Okay, so 1 minus this is something. And then what we're going to do is we're going to multiply this, the crack, by the color purple. Okay, so we should have purple crack here. No, we do not. Why don't we have purple crack? Oh, because it's the white. We want to multiply this by purple. Okay, so we have purple cracks now. Great. Now all we want to do is take our purple cracks and add back 1 minus this multiplied by blue and add that back in. So we should have blue with purple crack, basically. And if we dial back we have blue with purple crack. Okay, and that's going to be controlling our emissive. Now, what I don't understand is, so our opacity is not being controlled by our Fresnel. This is going to control the opacity. Interesting. Why? Okay, and if we go 0, we have no cracks, but everything's purple. That makes 0 sense to me. Hold on a second. 1 minus 0. Our base color. The problem is our base. Okay, hold on a second. Our emissive color when this is 0 is what? Purple. because it's not what I want. All I want is this to control the crack. So this should be, when this is 0, oh, maybe this should change. I got it. So this is the add. We need one more multiply, I believe. So this is our crack value. Hold on a second. This is our crack value. Okay, we're gonna multiply that by this. Feed this in here. Okay. And then stop previewing. So we have crack. And then if I set this to 0, interesting. Not quite what we thought. So these are our crack, this is our crack values. Our crack value needs to be inverted. One minus that multiplied by blue and added back in. There we go. Holy smokes. That hurt. And we're not even thinking in 3 dimensions from a 2D world yet. Okay, so stop previewing. So this is no damage. This is full damage. Right? And the idea would be that as the shield goes down, I'm curious if we go, oh, we can really mess with this. This is cool. So as the shield is fading, I wonder what this looks like when you're playing. Yeah, so as the shield is fading, okay, so there's a couple problems here. The biggest problem is our textures are sliding, but whatever, we can fix that later. So basically what's going to happen is as the shield gets closer to 0, this is going to increase. So if we plug this back in, I don't know why we want to do that. I think we're just going to keep it like that. Now we could also multiply this by our... It's interesting that our emissive color is bleeding over when this controls our opacity. Kind of funky. Try something just to see if this covers it. Multiply that by our opacity. There we go. So now our cracks are limited to... Now our cracks are limited to the Fresnel. Oh, interesting. So let's actually undo that. I want to go back to having this because this was used to control, I thought, why is it this should be a power function, I think. Oh no, that is the power function. Yeah, we don't need this multiply. I don't know why we need this multiply. Okay, we're going to take that saturate and we're going to multiply this. take that amount. Yeah, we're just gonna take. Oh no. Hold on. Take this. Feed this into our opacity. And then we were multiplying by this. So let's multiply by this. So this limits our cracks. Or the emissive to be only where we can actually see based on the Fresnel. So that does that. So all this is great. I believe what's happening with material sliding is because we don't have texture coordinates, maybe? I have to see. Let's see here. Let's try something. Let's turn off. Let's just axe our opacity. And let's just play. Oh, I keep forgetting to apply that. Oh, it's because... Oh, you know what I'll bet it is? I'll bet you our noise is not in world space. I'll bet you it's because our noise is... how is our noise generated? Our noise is in... Yeah, our noise is in... Let's see here, texture. Lord. Error. Position. Interesting. I believe this is because our noise is slipping. It's being generated in world space as opposed to UV space. Let's see. Unreal Engine noise. Texture space. Images. Okay, so they're just feeding the texture cord. And they're appending. A value of 0. Feeding that in. Ooh, that's wonky. That's not at all what I was expecting. Object position, world space, add time, multiply, noise. Interesting, it's almost like this noise is in local space. This is texture-based noise. It says simplex, texture-based. This should not be sliding, I don't think. Okay, hold up a second. Let's try something. Just for a sanity check. Let's disconnect our world position off. What we should see is we have to apply it again. we should see our texture. It is clearly moving. So if you look at it, oh. Yeah, look at his right shoulder. Like, it's clearly moving. This has nothing to do with the offset. Let's bring back our offset. Okay. Apply that so we can see it. Interesting. Yeah, it's totally different. Something's going on with this noise. It's supposed to be a texture-based noise. I'm having a hard time buying that. Let's take a texture-based noise and just connect it straight into the base color. Yeah, that's not what it's supposed to be doing. Turbulent. Tiling is none. Position. Two or three-dimensional vector. UV. Basically, we're in world space is the problem. And as a result of that, our texture is sliding. This is a volume texture. That's not what we're looking for. Well, Unreal Engine noise texture sliding. Texture coordinate 0, 0, noise, hours, alert. That feeds into what? Yeah, this isn't what we want. I mean, this is cool for effects and stuff, but this is not. No, want. How do you figure float 4 to float 3? Interesting. I don't think this is the actual texture space. I think something's going on with this. All right, we have gone so far. Wait a second, maybe it's not. Okay, so this is what we want. Okay, so simplex texture base. Let's take this. Let's try this. Take this. Plug this into here. We can get rid of these guys. We can just gonna feed our emissive. Go back to our cylinder. This is going to be 100, 50, 25, 10, 20. Okay, cool. So that's going to feed that. The opacity came off of here. No. The opacity came off here. Base color was here, I believe. And then if we set our blend to 0, we had no crap. Ooh, hold up a second, we got this wrong. Our base color is that. Our emissive color was multiplied by go back before we disconnected these. Okay. Here's our opacity. Okay, let's see if we're back. No, we're not back. What? Why? Oh, man, I thought we fixed that. Why is that changing to red? Our emissive color should be tracks only. Okay. I don't know why we need this. 0, 1. Sorry, I'm still alive. I have no idea. Alright. You know what? It's late, y'all. I gotta call it. We got super distracted. Let's wrap this up. Okay. I guess that's a reminder to wrap up on time sometimes. We made some progress. Oh, Original 9. Good to see you. How you doing? Thanks for hopping in. So we made some progress. I mean, we got a little bit distracted with art. It tends to happen, mostly because it was driving me nuts. But the thing is, if we apply this, basically what we've got is we now have a visual way to visualize shields on our characters. Okay, and we can see them. It's got some problems with it. It's kind of driving me a little bit nuts. But the cool thing is, what we can do is, and we've gone a little over the top with it, right? Like, what we can do is, we can coordinate the cracks that are happening on the, sorry, I thought I was still sharing my screen, but basically we can set it up so that as the shield goes down, the cracks get bigger. And then once you get to a point where the shield's gone, the cracks in the whole shield disappears like you saw earlier. We got a little bit distracted in the materials. That's okay. It's fun stuff. We're learning a ton. But it's all good. Things are good. We went way over our time. Usually we're done by 11:15, but I got a little bit lost in the art land tonight and spent a bunch of time building out some material stuff. Did you have any questions before I sign off for the night? There's a wicked delay between the broadcast and the chat sometimes, so. All right, it looks like maybe not. Maybe not. Not today. You got to do some uni work. All right, that makes total sense. So, as always, everybody, thanks for hopping in. Thanks for spending time. It's good to see you. Anybody who's hanging out in the wings, same thing. If if you're here but you didn't necessarily drop any comments or ask questions, thanks for checking it out after the fact. As always, if you have questions, something that you want us to go over, feel free to throw those in the comments, or you can hop in the Discord. I try to keep track of that as well and help out with questions in there also, and we can always cover it in the next live stream. Our next live stream is going to be Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. That's Pacific Standard Time. So that you've got it. It should already be in the YouTube schedule. I hope everybody has an amazing start to your week. I know there's a bunch of people that are on vacation tomorrow, so I hope you have a good vacation tomorrow, and that everybody has a lot of fun with all their game dev stuff. I will catch you all on the next live stream. Take it easy.